B&B 2020. Are you ready?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and here we are at Whilton Mill for this penultimate round of the Rich Energy British Mini Bikes Championship. My name is Chris Sora, and I'll be taking you through the afternoon's action. As you can see, looking at the paddock on the left-hand side of your screen, another big entry of riders for this penultimate round of the championship. We've got some pretty decent in association with Parker Racing. It's the Mini Bikes Stock 140 Group B. Riders are in the waiting zone, and we'll have a look at how they lined up in the morning qualifying. This is Parker Racing Stock 140 Group B. James Lewis will lead them away with a 48.038 from James McMillan. Dean Quincy in third, Brett Neesham, Louis Lockyer in fifth, and Mark James Cockfield in sixth position. Seventh for Ben Jessup, George Kelly 8th, Mike Smallbones and Ben Blick rounding out the top 10. Gaz Pearson 11th. A bit further back, Richard Seal, unidentified rider in 14th, Matthew Corbett, Lewis Mackay, Ian Gamble and Chris Bird in 18th position. 19th for Jack SEABRIGHT, Marcus Burton, Jack Wolf, Ben Pearson, Heaven Owen and Reed Jones with no time at the back of the field. And I think some of these riders have got Darren Coleman, Tommy Champion, Nathan Smith, Simon Pattison, Chris Grieve and Danny Cohen 30th, but we'll most likely see those in Group A, I believe. We've got 19 riders out on the track at the moment for Group B. James Lewis, then the pole sitter, the rider to look out for. This really was an action-packed event last time out. Pit Bike Stock 140 taking their place on the grid. Brought to you in association with Parker Racing, and certainly the Group A we had last time out at Three Sisters was probably the closest British mini bike race I've seen for a very long time, and as you know, if you follow these races, we do tend to get the close finish on a fairly regular basis, but even by those high standards it was very close and very exciting indeed at the end of Group A, the final race last time out at Three Sisters. So I think if we get half as close today, it'll be very good indeed. So the Group B riders about to get things underway. Last couple of riders making their way around the final corner up towards the starting grid, and Parker Racing Pit Bike Stock 140 Group B is about to get underway. This of course our first race of the day for the 150s. Coming towards the end now with the first block of racing. We'll move through to block number 2 a little bit later on. Visors down though in the meantime for the Parker Racing Stock 140 Group B, about to get underway. And the flag drops, away we go. Good start from James McMillan on the outside, but it looks like James Lewis has held on to the lead. Here they come round the first corner. Very tight indeed as they go up towards Christmas for the first time. It looks like Mark James Cockfield's in this race, so good to see him back in action. He of course had an accident earlier on today, but doesn't look like it's anything serious. And a good start there. Everyone seems to have got through safely as they go through Christmas for the first time. Very close though in the midfield. And it's all close again as they go through the off-camber approach to Zulu. James McMillan, Dean Quincy well placed. Looks like James Lewis has taken the lead. All very close on the edge of the top 10. Matthew Corbett, Jack Wolf, Chris Bird, Lewis Mackay all in there as the leaders make their way through Boot for the first time. And it looks like James Lewis is starting to pull away a bit now. Around the final corner they go. Top 10 pulling away now from the rest of the field. It's at the back of the field, it's very close as well. Some close battles there. So with some of the tail enders having their own battle at the back, this could make things interesting later in the race for the leaders as they make their way through, as James Lewis proudly displaying of course the logo of our sponsors in this race, Parker Racing. He leads the race, 1.6 seconds on the first lap. Look at this though, very close indeed down through Zulu from McMillan and Quincy, the 665 and 287, all very close indeed. Second and third place, down towards Boot they go. Quincy having a look down the inside, but McMillan holds the line, holding on to that second place. Still looking to get involved in this race, though, is the 4:11, just a little bit further behind there, Brett Neesham. Lewis still your race leader, 10 laps to go. Still a long way to go in this Group B race as McMillan tries to pull away. James Lewis, fastest lap of the race with a 47.856. And we just saw going out of shot there, the race leader through Christmas corner. Dean Quincy looks threatening in third place, trying to close up on James McMillan. So the leader, James Lewis, looking strong in the front, leading by almost 2 seconds last time. It looks like he's pulled away slightly. McMillan still there in second though, Quincy. And the rest of the top 10, we've got Brett Neesham just behind this battle in fourth place. Louis Lockyer fifth, George Kelly, Ben Jessup Wheel in 8th, Blick in 9th, and Gaz Pearson on the 7-2-3 rounding out the top 10. There's the 4:11 of Brett Neesham trying to get the power down the straight, trying to close up here on Dean Quincy. McMillan pulls away slightly on the approach to Christmas corner. To the top corner they go, that really iconic Christmas corner, you would say, that uphill braking zone. It all gets a bit off cambered here as McMillan guards the inside line. Quincy closes up on the braking, looks quick through Zulu, and the battle now on once again for second place. Still James Lewis that leads the way. James McMillan, incidentally, with the fastest lap of the race, 47.082 last time round. Quincy in third, though, keeping the pressure on, has a look down the inside going into the final corner, but McMillan's got the sweep on the outside. Second and third are closing up here on the leader, 1.5 seconds covering the top three. And looking at the lap times again, they really are closing on James Lewis, the race leader. McMillan pulling 0.3 of a second on the previous lap. Only 1.2 seconds covering first and second place, so you don't need me to tell you here. You can see now just how much McMillan is closing up on this guy. The leader, 7:11. James Lewis, down the hill they go. McMillan coming under some real pressure here from Dean Quincy in third, and they are both closing up on the leader, so this could be a fight for the lead very soon indeed between these top three riders. Brett Neesham falling away a bit now in fourth place on the 4:11. Louis Lockyer, George Kelly still there, Cockfield in seventh. Jessup Blick and Gaz Pearson still running up the top 10. Tom Spencer and Lewis McKay a bit further behind, but all the action here is for the lead with 7 laps to go. Again, McMillan, fastest lap of the race, 46.9. 0.7 of a second covering the top three, but closing up all the time now. And McMillan is all over the back wheel here of James Lewis. This is the thing sometimes, though. When you see yourself closing up physically on a rider, it's just a real psychological boost. When you see for yourself you're closing up all the time, it just makes you go faster and faster. Now, I wonder here what Dean Quincy's doing in third place. Is he doesn't seem to be pushing the second place man too much. Just looking to try and close up on the race leader here. So I think he's playing the long game here. He knows that it's better not to fight for the position just yet. Just to tag on to that second place man, just keep the pressure on. As now McMillan starts to put James Lewis under some real pressure. The gap, as you can see for yourself, 0.7 of a second covering the top three riders. It's very close indeed. James Lewis goes defensive, but McMillan round the outside and takes the lead. Great move there from James McMillan to take the lead on the approach to Christmas corner. Dean Quincy now trying to make his move to second place. So Lewis drops to second, Quincy still third. Great move there though from James McMillan round the outside. And here they come to boot once again. So James McMillan, the new race leader. It's still James Lewis in second place. Dean Quincy trying to find a way through as they make their way down towards the final corner, just over halfway gone in this race. Still Brett Neesham in fourth, but quite a distance back from this battle for the lead. 5 laps to go. McMillan leads and immediately pulls away at the front. James Lewis second, Dean Quincy third. And there we see McMillan trying to break away now from this battle now, which is now for second, of course, between Lewis and Quincy. Dean Quincy trying to find a way through as they go towards the right hand of that really tight apex into the right. They're closing up on some of the back markers. I think that's Ian Gamble and Marcus Burton just in front. And there we see McMillan switching to the inside as they go into boot, trying to find a way through. Oh, and second and third squeezing past the tail ender. So good running there to get past Ian Gamble. I think it's Marcus Burton just in front of this battle for the lead. Here we're looking at, I think that's Ben Jessup and Ben Blick battling for 7th position. seem to have lost Mark James Cockfield, who was in 10th position, was in 7th, I should say, dropping out of the top 10 and out of contention. I think he's gone to the pits. There's the 7-2-3. They're moving up to 9th place now of Gaz Pearson. Pearson trying the outside. And, oh, Ben Blick's gone through, of course, into 7th place. Gaz Pearson trying to find a way through here, through Christmas Corner. Let's have a look at the 7-2-3 as they make their way up towards Christmas Corner. Looks threatening down the inside, but not going to find an opening at the moment. Ben Jessup on the number 8, holding on to that 8th position. Still James McMillan leads the way. James Lewis second, Dean Quincy third. Here they come around the final corner. Oh, and this is getting close here because it looks like Quincy's gone through to second. Yes, he has. They got the number 58 of Marcus Burton. This is the 17th place rider. Quincy squeezing through. And the tail ender there just doing the right thing there, holding his line, letting the faster riders find their way through. Oh, Quincy a little bit squirrely going into Christmas Corner there. But holds on to the bike, keeps that second position from James Lewis. James McMillan really pulling away now. The gap has gone up to 1.9 seconds as they make their way down through Zulu into the left-hander. So McMillan, a well-deserved lead so far for him, and leads by almost 2 seconds. But Dean Quincy now clear in second. The early race leader James Lewis dropping to third on the number 7-11, but still looks strong in that third place. 3 laps to go, 2 laps to go I should say though, as James McMillan crosses the line and immediately sets the fastest lap of the race. 46.661 for this guy here. 665, James McMillan into Christmas Corner once again. Guards the inside line nice and neat. There's a mascot there hanging from the rear fender, so certainly bringing him luck so far as he goes through the tight right-hander leading into Zulu. Down the hill they go. Quincy holding on to that second place quite nicely now. James Lewis just watching in third. The top 3 really have broke away from the rest of the field. The midfield runners making their way through past the finish line right now, so traffic shouldn't be a problem on the final lap as McMillan goes around the final corner. 1 lap to go. Yes, there goes the last lap board. Dean Quincy though with the fastest lap of the race, 46.606, pulling half a second on the race leader. So James McMillan leads the race. There he is, but Dean Quincy closing up now. Time could be against Dean in second place here on the 287. I think McMillan may well have done enough here, but Dean Quincy certainly pushing hard on the final lap. McMillan can't afford a mistake. Lewis third, still Brett Neesham fourth, Louis Lockyer in 5th place on the 99, George Kelly, Ben Blick, Gaz Pearson all running well. But James McMillan, he's done all the hard work early in the race and he's just got to bring it home through boot for the final time. Dean Quincy closing up all the time here, but time is against him as McMillan goes round the final corner. James McMillan is your race winner. Dean Quincy, another fastest lap of the race on that final lap, 46.3, almost pulled a second on McMillan. The time was against him, and your winner, James McMillan on the 665. Quincy then in second place, James Lewis third, Brett Neesham going through in 4th place from Louis Lockyer in 5th position, but well done to James McMillan, a very well-deserved race victory. So still pretty close there in pit bike stock 140 Group B. We move on to what was I would argue, the race of the season last time out for these guys. It's the Parker Racing pit bike stock 140 Group A. They're in the waiting zone, and they'll be underway in just a few moments' time as the rest of the Group B make their way through. There's the 666 of Chris Bird going through, so everyone's in. And as you say, some great action there in Group B, but let's have a look. So 3 more races to go here at the penultimate round of the Rich Energy British Mini Bikes, and we will start with pit bike stock 140 Group B in association with Parker Racing. James Lewis will lead them away from James McMillan, Dean Quincy third, Brett Neesham in 4th, Louis Lockyer 5th, and Mark James Cockfield in 6th position. 7th for Ben Jessup, 8th is George Kelly, 9th Mike Smallbones, Ben Blick rounds out the top 10 from Gaz Pearson and Tom Spencer in 12th. 13th position in qualifying was Richard Seal, unidentified rider on 14th position, Matthew Corbett, Lewis Mackay in 16th, Ian Gamble and Chris Bird in 18th place. The rest of the field made up of Jack Seabright, Marcus Burton, Jack Wolf, and Ben Pearson. Heavy Owen, Reed Jones, no time. Only 15 riders though taking part in the second race, so a little bit of attrition going on there. A few riders dropping out from race number 1. We have 2 more races to go after this, of course. We have the Pit Bike Stock 140 Group A to follow, and Race Fasteners Mini GP 190 and 70. Second race of the day, that will be the final race of the afternoon. Just a little bit later on, the racing is about to get underway. Just again a shout out for James Mosticker, Matthew Davis and Ed P to the podium. Here we go. Oh, trouble at the back, as that's a nasty moment there at the back of the field, as one rider, I think that might have been the number 55 possibly, just seemed to loop out at the start, the bike getting away from them, luckily avoiding all other riders. I think that was Richard Seal in trouble at the start, but I think he's okay and hopefully should be able to continue in the race. But James Lewis getting a good start, the 7-11. Brett Neesham and Dean Quincy also well placed, Louis Lockyer and Ben Jessup in there as well. So I think aside from Richard Seal, I think most riders, it might be Marcus Burton actually, one of the two. There he is at the back there. I think that may well have been Marcus Burton actually. All of the riders have got away safely as they go through Boot for the first time. Daylight beginning to fade a bit now as we head towards the final part of the day. Could be a factor for the riders as James Lewis goes through 49.451, fastest lap of the race in the early stages. Dean Quincy 1.5 seconds adrift as we look at the number 99. Lockyer down the inside of Brett Neesham, doesn't quite make the move stick. There's the 411 of Neesham. So down the hill they go. There's Neesham, there's 99, Lockyer. Neesham a bit more aggressive down the hill over the curbs through Zulu. Here they come towards Boot once again as Neesham goes through. James Lewis, still your race leader though, and 1.5 seconds last time round. Let's have a look at the gap as they cross the line. Well, there's nothing much to say between the top 2 riders. James Lewis 1.3 seconds from Dean Quincy, almost identical on pace. Quincy just a little bit faster in second place, but it's fairly close indeed. Pulling away now from Neesham in third, and this great battle with Louis Lockyer, Ben Jessup, George Kelly and Ben Blick in 7th place, Tom Spencer. There is the number 8 of Ben Jessup as they go through to Christmas Corner from Ben Blick and Tom Spencer. Chris Bird in there as well. Good ride actually from Chris Bird there on the treble 6 up into the top 10. Down through Zulu they go. There's the 4.35 of Tom Spencer, currently in 8th place at the back of this little battle here on the 5th through to 8th position. Small mistake there, ever so slightly, just a little bit heavy into the corner from Ben Jessup, recovers well and holds on to position. Round the final corner they go, 9 laps to go. And still James Lewis leads the way, being closed on though by Dean Quincy. Brett Neesham still in third. Just focusing on this battle though for 5th position. Ben Jessup on the number 8 holds on to the 5th place. George Kelly, Ben Blick, as down the inside goes Kelly. Gonna have to be brave on the brakes, but no, he can't quite get through, can't make the pass stick as Jessup had the momentum on the outside going to Christmas Corner to hold on to position again. Kelly having a look down the inside into Zulu. You have to be careful here though, because Ben Blick is starting to close up in 7th place. Tom Spencer as well. 9 laps to go. James Lewis still leads. Dean Quincy in 2nd place. The battle for 5th making its way through Boot once again. And James Lewis now making his way up towards Christmas Corner. 7-11, the race leader. 2.87, Dean Quincy in 2nd place. Oh, as Ryder hits trouble. Oh, that's the 3rd place man out of the race. It would appear Brett Neesham has hit trouble. That's the final corner. And that is 4.11, Brett Neesham on the final corner. Looks like the visor's up, it looks like he's out of the race, so that will change things for Louis Lockyer going through to 3rd place, shaking up the top 5 battle. At the moment though, James Lewis, 7-11, this is the rider in shot with the Hurricane Yamaha style crash helmet and those very distinctive day-glow and black leathers with Parker Racing there with the race sponsors. Of course, it's always good news to see their rider out at the front. But being closed on now by the number 2.87 of Dean Quincy. Again, Quincy closes up only by a few tenths. The gap goes down to just shy of 9/10 of a second. So Quincy, 2.87 in 2nd, is just picking away here and there, ever so slightly on the race leader. So with Neesham dropping out, that means that Lockie moves up to third place, Jessup into fourth, Blick into fifth position. But we concentrate on the 287 of Dean Quincy down the hill, closing up all the time here on James Lewis. We've still got 6 laps to go at the end of this one. Still a long way to go in this race. Lewis holds on to the lead. Quincy right on the rear wheel now, though, as they go through Boot. Here they come down towards the final corner. Quincy nice and neat on the exit of the corner into the final pit straight corner. Here they go, and you don't need the stopwatch to see that Dean Quincy is right with the race leader now. 46.837, fastest lap of the race. Here they come up towards Christmas corner. Could we see Dean Quincy make a move? Well, Lewis guards the inside line. He knows that Quincy's there and will now make that Parker Racing machine as wide as possible. Riding smart, holding the apexes here. Again, forcing Quincy wide. Quincy tries to get him under acceleration, going through Zulu. But no, Lewis has got the line, holds on to the lead. Quincy with a nice move. Oh, he almost toppled over there. He's going to go for the move into Boot down the inside. And Dean Quincy takes the lead. So 287, Dean Quincy, your new race leader. But they are closing up on slower riders. Could this play a part? Lewis looking to try and fight back, and Dean Quincy, 47.4 last time round, already pulls away from Lewis in second. They are closing up on some of the tail enders as Quincy has a glance over the shoulder. Knows he's pulling away now from Lewis. He can use his own lines, but here we are. Here's the slower traffic. This, I think, is Ian Gamble and Marcus Burton. And this could potentially be the worst part of the track to encounter the slower traffic for Quincy. But he sweeps around the outside quite nicely and will look to try and break away. This is the, as we said before, the really technical, slower part of the track, and it can potentially be difficult to safely pass these riders on the, as Lewis backs out of that one going into Boot, and that will really allow Dean Quincy to pull away here. So Lewis has taken his time going past the slower riders. There's the 47 of Ian Gamble around the final corner. Still Lewis can't get through, so in fairness of course to Burton and Gamble at the back of the field, they're entitled to have their own battle. This is all allowing Dean Quincy to pull away as we watch the number 99 of Louis Lockyer now of course up to third place with Brett Neesham dropping out of the race. Here they come up the hill up towards Christmas corner, and Lockyer looking good in third. He's still got the 86 of Ben Blick just behind him in fourth place. George Kelly and Ben Jessup rounding out the top 6. Dean Quincy looking good as we look at Lockyer momentarily. So here we go, 3 laps to go in the pit bike stock 140 race B, and Dean Quincy pulling away, taking advantage of the back markers as Lewis struggled to get through. James Lewis in second place. Dean Quincy has a look over the shoulder as he goes through Christmas corner, and will now know that he's got the race all to himself so far. This is a nice cushion to have here, 5.4 seconds. So although Dean Quincy will not be putting his feet up by any stretch, it just takes the pressure away a little bit for him. He can run his own race, use his own lines here. He doesn't have to worry about faster riders coming up on him. So he's just got to run his own race here, keep it nice and smooth. But for third place here, Louis Lockyer, anything but here, because he's coming under some serious pressure from Ben Blick and George Kelly as the leaders make their way through. There's the 7-11. Lewis still in second, closing up a bit now on Dean Quincy, but 2 laps to go. Still a long way to go in this race, you would say, for the third place battle. Of course, we head towards the final part of the day. The light is starting to fade. I would say the camera's doing a great job to make it look light, but here on Christmas corner you can see it's looking a little bit darker. The floodlights are now on. I'm just looking out at the commentary points here, so this could play a part for the riders. It makes it a bit more difficult in these final 2 races as the light starts to fade. And you'll also see actually in the paddock 1 or 2 of the early departures riders in the earlier races. They'll be switching the lights on as Blick goes up to third here, but they got the 58 of Burton in front, and this could allow Lockyer to fight back as they go into Boot. No, it's Blick holds on to that third position. The 86 now into third place. Lockyer drops to 4th. As I say, the light really starting to fade now. 5 seconds between first and second, but all the action here as we go into the last lap is for that third place. As Blake holds on to third, Locke is still in 4th. Kelly and Jessup a bit further behind. There we just momentarily saw the 7-11 of Lewis. There you saw the floodlights as well in the background. as the light starts to go down in these last couple of races. Still Blake holding on from Lockyer. Kelly and Jesper a bit further behind in 5th and 6th place, but Dean Quincy still your race leader as this pit bike stock 140 Group B drawing to a close. There's the number 287. It's Dean Quincy around the final corner. Checkered flag now been readied, and Dean Quincy is your race winner. Second position, he really charged through on the final lap, but Lewis has to settle for second place on the 711. Who's it going to be in that close battle for third place? It's very close to the line. Oh, look at this. Drag race to the line, but Blake just about holds on from Lockyer. And it's going to be George Kelly, Ben Jessup and Tom Spencer just a little bit further behind. Battle to the line here with the 435 of Spencer. Just losing out to Ben Jessup for 6th place, but well done to the 287 of Dean Quincy, making his way back to the paddock. We'll see him, of course, next time out at Teesside. But we move on with Parker Racing, our pit bike specialist, to our penultimate race of the day. It's the Parker Racing Stock 140 Group A, and they'll be underway in